fantasy, 11 Thrones of the Wild Wizard or something like that. Some kind of thing.
And just like that, we're live, man. Good morning for a Monday, a miraculous, morose, mundane Monday. It's a football Monday. Although
A football Monday.
49er
Last
fans.
football Monday of the year, right?
What's that?
Last football Monday I said the year, but this particular football year, because there won't be any football played on Monday until September, right? Or August at least. I guess they'll start having Monday night games.
The hard part about the football season is you get more football as the season wears on. It gets more intense and more active and more games and more important games. And the games have been great. The Ram game yesterday was amazing. The 49er game, not so much. Seahawks fans have a lot to cheer about and to be happy about and to be confident about. And 49er fans just hope that all the off-season surgeries work. They get their tight ends back and their linebacker back and their receivers back and maybe even Brandon Ayuk. But in the condition that they're in right now, what they need is 2 aspirin in a quiet, dark room with a cold compress over the eyes and try to come back slowly from the realities of the NFL, which is you have a great team, you have a great heritage, you have a great coaching staff, you have great opportunity, you skate through the playoff process. But when you come up against a fully organized team like the Seahawks and you can't bring your best players, what makes you think you're going to win?
Well, but you still got to show up. You still got to play. I don't know that anybody on that. Well, I almost said something that would really go against what I always believe and what I always say, which is, no player goes into a game believing that they just can't win it. But yesterday or Saturday, I should say, was about as close as you could get to a team showing up somewhere and saying, we got no chance. We may as well just, we should actually pick, 53 people out of the stands and let them play and we'll just watch.
Well, there was no point at which that looked like the 49ers had an opportunity even to score a touchdown, let alone win the game.
Yeah, and it was, you always like to believe, I think, as a player, that you're gonna find a way. As a coach, you're gonna find a way to win. You're gonna find some magic formula. So you're gonna exploit some injury or find some weakness that's gonna give you a win. But I think the reality was for that game on Saturday, there was just no. I mean, any team going in that stadium on Saturday would have had all they could handle. The team that's operating at less than half of their of their strength, with so many key players out, I don't know. I mean. I felt bad for them actually at some point in that game because you could just see how overmatched they were. From the opening kickoff to the final moments of the game, it was just like
they had their miracle with the Eagles. There was not going to be 2 miracles in a row. There just couldn't be.
It just doesn't. Well, and I hate to say it doesn't happen like that because I'm sure somebody would then go into the archives and find something that happened like that. But the reality is, it just doesn't happen like that. It's too physical a game. You can cheat around in baseball a lot. You can get average guys and somebody can have a good streak or this or that. It's hard in football, man. I mean, you just have physical brute power going up against physical brute power and finesse. And if you don't have brute power to match that, you're just going to be in trouble. And that's what the 49ers ran up against on Saturday. They ran up against a team that just had much more physical, brute power and finesse, certainly, but certainly much more of an ability to just run through people, to push people aside, to break tackles, um, to find gaps where the 49ers, possibly could have filled that gap on a different day without the injuries. But on Saturday, as what is it? What is the boxing promoter always says? Just not your night, babe. And it wasn't.
No,
Just
not
wasn't
even
their
close.
night. They'll be back. I would never count them out of anything. They'll be back, but right now it looks to me. I mean, I don't know. It looks like it's the Seahawks. The Seahawks to lose. I mean, I don't. The
No,
Rams have a team, obviously, and a
they
good
won't.
team,
They won't have to play the.
but
I feel sorry for Denver after having such a great game, and then among the last plays, I don't know exactly how many plays before the end of the game when Bo Nix breaks his ankle.
Yeah,
and had to tell the coach. The coach said, you put together a great game, you won, and he said, not so fast, my friend. I think something's wrong with my ankle.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have
that was one play for Denver. The 49ers had that feeling for 20 different plays in the game where they simply couldn't answer the bell.
Well, to be fair, the 49ers have had that feeling half the season.
Yes.
They've just had, been decimated with injuries. The Seahawks, it appears that that Chardonnay is it's gonna. I always call him Chardonnay. But he is looks like he's out, gone for the rest of the season, or what's left of the playoffs. So even if they get to the Super Bowl, which I'm not backing off my prediction there, it's unfortunately looks like that he is not going to be able to participate in anything but standing on the side of the field and directing traffic. That's about it. But this is a machine. This Seahawk team right now. It's just a well-oiled, coached, well managed, I mean, everything on this team is pointed toward. We're going to get to Santa Clara. We're going to go down there, and we're going to, and and of course the Rams are going to try to stand in the middle of that. But I don't know. As it is right now, I don't see the Rams coming in here and beating them.
I think you better be prepared for just that. I think that any complacency at this point in the season is a terrible equation for
them, for the players. Yeah. The players definitely, and I think losing Charbonnet is a bigger. He if you watch this team all year, you realize that he's a pretty integral part of what goes on there. He's
the strength. He's the strength of the running game.
Yeah. Luckily they made some nice moves during the year to bring Shaheen in and to bolster up their offense, and their defense is just so if a piece goes down, another piece is going to step in to compensate in some shape, manner, or form. So you're right. I mean, let's not start patting each other on the ass quite yet. But certainly is as a my not a reporter, but yeah, my press box persona says, you know, let's see how it all plays out. But my Lucky Shirts, Lucky Charms persona says that the Rams are going to come in here and get their ass kicked. So at some point, the press box persona will probably take over. The logical person will take over, start looking and saying, well, this has to happen and that has to happen. This guy's pretty good and that guy. But right now, I'm still basking in the glow of, man, what an ass kicking.
And all the cold weather games are over with, and they had some effect on the outcome. But the Rams and the Bears, for instance, as miserable as the conditions were, the field was in pretty good shape, and it didn't look like the weather in Chicago had a deciding factor in the finish of the game, which is good news.
Yeah, and I'm still, I listened to that game on the radio. I didn't watch that game, so I don't know exactly everything that went wrong. I couldn't see, for the Bears. I thought it was. I kind of expected, and it's funny because at the end of the game, I had to get out of the car, so I couldn't quite see what was going on. As a matter of fact, I watched a couple of the plays sitting outside a place with a picture window and the game on in the screen. So I was listening in the car while I was watching what was going on the screen. And it was, you just kind of figured something. I mean, I was really kind of rooting for the Bears. Dan. I gotta admit, man, I wanted to see the Chicago Bears back in the action.
It looked like they were going to do it. It looked like it.
Yeah. But that's the game. It's why you watch until the last couple of minutes, unless it's a 49, 48, whatever blowout.
Well, I hope that's the condition that they were in tonight for the Miami and Indiana, because I would like it to be close. I'd like it to be in the outcome to be unknown until the end, the battle to be evenly matched, and the turnovers to be evenly dispersed so that one team doesn't run away with it. I think for the national championship to be decided before halftime would be a disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be for many. Yeah, for a lot of people. I mean, it would be much better for college sports, I guess. I don't know. The couple of people that still watch college sports for the sport and not for the gambling, I guess it'd be good for them. For the gamblers, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the gambling mind takes those kinds of games. Once you get the point spread covered, or your prop bet covered, or the DraftKings doing this or doing that, it all kind of changes, but which is good, because I think that gambling is ruining the college for gambling and the transfer portal. See, that's the thing, Michael. It's just I get into this game because I have friends that have teams that they're passionate about on both sides. You, my friend Bill Kazarba, other people that I know that are really, staunch Miami fans, and they love Miami, and that's their team. And I also have a lot of friends that are Indiana fans, and that are down there and that are, going to the game, and so there's that interest to me of everybody. A lot of friends are interested in this game, so I guess I'll be interested in it too. But I just can't believe, in some ways, how uninterested I am in and have been all year in college football. It's just it just hasn't gripped me this year like in years in the past. I don't know. Maybe it's because the Mariners went long or something. I don't know. It I just haven't had it. I mean, it's, again, nice, wonderful, but it just hasn't pulled the passion out of me like it has in years gone by. And I don't know what that is. Like I say, I think I think a lot of it is between the gambling and the transfer portal and all of that stuff that's going on, and just the absolute chaotic, um, frenetic thing that's going on with all. I mean, you don't know who's going to be on a team one year to the next. Uh, the whole illusion of college football and the nice, wonderful afternoons in Pullman as you go out there and the coach has been there and went to school there and all that stuff is all gone. I mean, that's a thing of the past. It just doesn't have for me. Again, it doesn't have the same allure that it used to, which is just a shame because I really like college football. Maybe I'll get it back again, but going to be a hell of a game tonight. I mean, these two teams. I don't know. Can you really say who's going to win this game and who's not going to win this game? Is there anything you look at that says, "Boy, that makes me absolutely positive that Miami is going to win this game"?
Well, Mendoza's a great leader and a great athlete. I think you have to give Indiana the edge because of the way they played all year long. Miami gathered its collection of talented athletes and developed them so that the team became more potent as the year went on. And they were certainly not picked by anybody to be number one. They had to play their way into the situation they're in, and so it won't change tonight. They have the home field advantage. They have the feeling on the team that they can beat Indiana. But Indiana has to have the confidence that they've put together for this entire season on their side. And Mendoza is easily protected. They have a running game. They have a passing game. They have Indiana's O-line and D-line are performers. They are big kids. They're NFL ready. And it's going to take some turnovers, some breaks, a Miami running game that can be relied upon and called upon throughout the contest. You got to have that running game to open up the passing game. It's a fact of football. If you can't balance the two, your effort becomes more difficult. And that's the strength of these two teams fighting each other. They both have a potent offense, running game, passing game, and they have defensive abilities that are game-ending and soul-crushing and turnover-friendly. So all that put together, 4:30 this afternoon. I am a Hurricane, so I'll be rooting for Miami. But but to be real and to be fair to Indiana, they've got a great team, extraordinary collection of talent.
Yeah. I mean, from Mendoza right on down the line, and I like Signetti is out of the out of the Western Pennsylvania coaching tree. He's one of those Western PA guys, and I'm always I'm. It's tough for me to go against those guys. Those guys that come out of that region, that the Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. I call it the fertile quarterback crescent because so many great quarterbacks have come out of there, but so many great coaches
like Dan Marino and Joe Montana.
Yeah, have come out of that of that area. That it's hard to it's hard to go against them, and you turn around and look at what he's done with that Indiana program, and what I mean, he's only there 2 years, right? and he's just. I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but had anybody been mentioning Indiana as a football power? I know they always are in the conversation. Even if they have, even if they win 2 games in the season, they're in the conversation as far as basketball. But in football, you know, I don't recall them being in the conversation all that much as championship material. And this guy has gone in there, this coach has gone in there and put something into that program that says, no, 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 no. We're as good as anybody up and down I-90 or I-80 or I-70 or whatever I you want to come up with. Or as our good friend Doug used to say, I. whichever I you have in your
and the openings for jobs in the NFL has increased by one this morning as Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills got fired.
That kind of sucks. I mean,
he joins the
designed the
unemployment
office
ranks.
at the stadium. He said, "I want this here and I want that there, and this would be great here. It'll be wonderful to have the desk this way." And now he's never going to get to sit in it.
Well, it wasn't wide right, but it was everything but wide right that made the difference in the game. And the Bills did not look capable of making the difference in the game by themselves.
Yeah, but you know what? They haven't looked prepared for a postseason game in, I don't know, what was it, 9 years? I don't know that they ever looked prepared for a postseason game. I mean, they had these great seasons. They got a great quarterback. They got a great team. I mean, you can go all the way back to Tyrod Taylor when he came in and quarterback. And they had that one bad, year when he, early on when he was there. But he never seemed to get them going in the postseason for whatever reason. He never seemed to get them to believe that they could do any good in the postseason. I mean,
because it's going to be a good job to take.
Well, yeah,
a good job
you got
to
a great
earn.
Quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback. You got a good team, but he never got them. McDermott never got them to where so many people thought they should be. Not just you're not just talking about some Buffalo fans, some guys that are sitting at the bar at Ilio DiPaolo's, and saying, "Oh, this bastard don't know how to do anything. He don't know how to." I mean, this was seasoned experts in football would look at this guy and this team and say, scratch their heads and say, "I don't know why this team doesn't get to the Super Bowl."
They don't win the big games, and they haven't won them for years now. So there is some difference a coach can make in that regard. But if you looked at the performance that Allen put on yesterday, I can think of 5 passes that he threw low, wide, in the dirt that were 2 of which would have been touchdowns for sure. And his touch was not there. His accuracy was not there. And his performance allowed Bo Nix and the Broncos there in Denver to put it together, win the game in the end. It's just an old story that Buffalo can't shake. It's a strange. You'd think that they would have to win sooner or later, and a new coach coming in there. I wonder if John Harbaugh is making any regrets now about which team in New York he joined. You could have had the Buffalo team, but you took the New York team.
And you got to think that, well, and again, given the history of football in the state of New York, It's not on, and with the Giants and the Jets and the Bills, it's not on. It's not would be not totally unexpected to open up ESPN in an hour or two and say Harbaugh leaves the Giants and goes to the Bills. Has he signed the contract yet?
Don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I mean,
I would think not.
We all remember the whole thing there with Belichick and the Jet, and how everybody just decided, well, maybe I really don't want to coach this team. So it wouldn't shock me if later today you got a flash on your phone that said Harbaugh's going to the Bills. That Terry Pegula got to him, the owner of the Bills, and said, "Well, I got more money for you. I got a brand new stadium. I got the only New York team. I've got a city that loves its football. It loves its team. You're not going to have to sit there in the cold in the Jersey Meadowlands and listen to two guys in fireman hats. One week they're a Jets fan, one week they're a Giants fan. Sit up there and abuse you. Yeah, you're going to work for Tish there, but hey, it just wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all if something like that went down. I don't know how that all works with the legality. They have to file it with the league office. Does the league office have to approve it? But if I was John Harbaugh, I would think any way I could get out of that contract this morning. The phone call would have been made last night. Unless, of course, they just don't think that he's the right guy, the right fit for that team. I mean, there's a lot of, there's not every coach gets along with every ownership group.
True.
And so, but I don't know the dynamics behind that particularly, except I know that the owner of the Bills is a Pittsburgh guy, and Pittsburgh guys generally don't like Baltimore guys. there's a real there's a rivalry there. There's a but and hey, they got some they're sitting around trying to figure out what to do in Pittsburgh too. So now it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Tomlin got a sniff at that job. Now, again, there's a lot. I've seen several reports that say that Tomlin doesn't want to coach again. That he's going to take at least a year off and try to kind of figure out what's going to, what
works best for him. Yeah.
What's best for him, which I wouldn't, I would say, you know what? You don't have to take a job. You don't need a job.
The problem is this year there are so many choices. There's so many teams that need coaches now. There's a lot of good jobs that are up. Pittsburgh's one of them, but he's obviously not involved with that one. Miami's a good job with money and organization. They're just short a few pieces of the pie that would make that a team that could earn contention. And the level of opportunity is rare to see these many head coach jobs open in one season. Was it 7 of them? I don't know.
Well, you got Miami, Tennessee, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Vegas, Arizona, and Cleveland.
And Buffalo.
And Buffalo, yeah. So you have yourself.
It's a lot. It's a lot of football right there.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of openings. Out of those teams, which do you think would be the most ready to get to? Which would be the easiest one? In your mind or in anybody's mind, to the easiest road to the Super Bowl? I would have to say the Bills.
They'd have to be number one on that list.
All of those other
Pittsburgh,
teams seem to have seem to be a year or two away.
because look at Pittsburgh, which would normally be on that list, doesn't have a quarterback really.
Yeah,
They don't have a prospect even for the backup of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers probably isn't coming back. Although nothing would surprise me with him, but I don't see him coming back unless he slides into a situation where somebody go. He'll be. The guy will be sitting home and somebody will call him and say, "We need, so our quarterback went down. Come on in and help us out for the rest of the year." So we'll play a 10-game season or something, or 12-game season. No sense in him really playing 17 games, right?
And Rodgers didn't look very spry this year. His maneuverability and around the pocket seemed limited, and that can't be attributed to anything but the fact that he's over 40. Was it 42?
Yeah, well, it catches up with you, Michael. I mean, try to get out of the chair when you're our age, and
no guarantees.
Yeah.
Will he get out of the chair? Well, we're not putting any money on that.
I mean, my idea is, am I going to make it to the bathroom? Because I'm getting up out of the chair.
As I said, no guarantees. Yeah.
Yeah, no guarantees. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if this guarantees for him either on anything. And given his, he was kind of quiet this year because I just don't think you mess with a guy like Mike Tomlin. He'll crush you. So he was kind of quiet in his coach criticism and his kept his mouth shut all year and played football. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. But
the political social world was not kind to Aaron Rodgers. He put his foot in it over and over again, and when he stopped doing that, he got better.
Yeah. He found it. That maybe, much like we're often told, stick to sports. Right? How many times have you heard that in our illustrious career by some idiot? Stick to sports. Well, maybe it helped him this year. Maybe
that's
it
just someone who thinks that Donald Trump does deserve somebody else's Peace Prize, and would be a kindly. What's the word I'm looking for? A kindly dictator for the good people of Greenland who need a little punch in their little click to their step.
This guy just give us a fucking weekend off.
We should be happier as being Americans.
Yeah. Can't he just give us a weekend off of his bullshit?
No. Never going to happen.
I just give us a weekend where we don't have to hear your name, don't have to look at your ugly face. Good Christmas. It's disgusting. I don't know
he's playing his way out of the hearts of all our allies. We're not going to have any allies. We don't know how to treat our allies. We don't know how. You don't want
to be the next president of the United States. You really don't. You're going to have to be
Mr. Fix-It.
You're going to have to be a statesman of the highest, because you're going to have to go and repair all of this damage that's been done. And there's probably going to be some of it that's irreparable, unrepairable. I just, and the big example to me, and the one to watch, is the story that broke on Friday. All these great stories with the Trump administration always seem to break on Friday night when, everybody goes home. And but the story on Friday that broke about the deal between Canada and China
For cars.
with the cars is something that you better be watching, because if Canada will pull a deal like this, and they're our best buddies, there's who's to say who's going to do what? And if this doesn't drive home a stake, drive home well, I wish it would drive home a stake in the heart of the beast, but just to look at this and say, here's our best friend, our favorite ally, a person who the country that will stand with us through anything, you name it.
The country that's just fair. Remember, Donald Trump said Canada's only there because of an arbitrary line that someone drew on a map. It's not really a country. It can be ours. It can be our 51st state. We can do what we want with it. That didn't go over very well. And he stopped talking like that and started saying, did I say Canada? I meant Greenland. Greenland's what I want. That's what I want. Yeah. That'll be our protectorate.
Yeah, and because I want it so bad, I'll threaten all the members of the EU.
Who threaten you right back? Who send troops?
Say, listen, we've been threatening people for 600 or 700 years. We know how to threaten people. You've been here 250 years, Junior. Go sit down over and go. We'll show you what threatening is.
Our furniture is older than your country.
Yeah. See that palace over there? That gate is older than your country. So,
well, how's this going to play? The nature of Trump is to take something to a head and push it and double down and do it again. Oh, you don't like this? You don't like these comments I make? I'll make more. You don't like the troop movements I ordered? I'll order more. He added 3,000 troops to Minnesota just out of a megalomania position of
spite.
Out of childish spite
and hatred and resentment, and he's got plenty of it. He has resentment to spare, and it hasn't bitten him on the ass yet. What I find fascinating about him is, with all the evil things he's done, with all the terrible decisions he's made, with all the lies he's told, he hasn't paid for any of them yet. He hasn't paid for a thing. And the Republicans that, with their spineless sons of bitches that are in Congress and the Senate, that live in fear of Donald Trump, will turn. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it has to happen for them to grow a pair and become the checks and balances that they were meant to be. Otherwise, there's no end to it.
Liz Cheney said it best.
The cowardice will be remembered.
The cowardice will be remembered, and he's going to be gone, and you're going to be here.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to live. He's almost 80 years old, and he's going to drop dead one day soon. And you're going to be here. You're not going anywhere quite yet. You got a few years to live through this. So
and a lot to answer for.
And it's
we remembered you did nothing. We remember how you voted when the impeachment was an opportunity, a real one. But no, you couldn't be bothered to do that. You had to follow Trump into the dark tunnel of Republican death spiral.
And where are those who appeased him now? Where are those who had the chance to do something about the horrible first term of this this idiot? Where are they? They're gone. No penalty. No nothing. They're gone. Now they don't. McConnell is there, but he's not there. That hump from Central California, McCarthy. He's got no skin in the game anymore. He's making $100,000 to give a speech to an Elks club.
The Elks always have disposable cash.
Yeah, well, that's because they have that big thing in front of the BPOE. So, until somebody steps up, until somebody, decides to do something about this, till somebody, and listen, I can understand it. I mean, because Trump and his people, it's the mafia. They're the mafia.
Yes.
They rule by fear. If you open up your mouth against them, they'll dox you. They'll do things to you. They'll make sure that that this happens, that happens. They rule by fear. But somebody somewhere along the line has to stand up and say, "Well, I don't care, because we're going to get this pimple on our ass out of here and stitch up the boil and move on, and eventually we'll be able to sit down again." But for now,
that's the challenge that faces them. It faces the nation, but the means to rid ourselves of Trump, the tools that are within the structure of our government have not been used, have not been consulted, have not been activated, and it's going to take something that's going to have to be bipartisan for it to succeed in ousting him. We need an oust. He must be ousted, and all these little helpers like Miller have to go with him, and they have to be open for legal retribution. It's a big order to take. The post-World War II scenario, where a lot of people were brought to justice, but a lot of people were not. A lot of people, they just let it go. They let some of the heinous crimes go unpunished because they were just wanted to move past it. They just wanted to move on. They just wanted to get on with life. They wanted to activate the post-war situation in Europe and in Japan, and so they didn't bring all the bad people who took advantage of World War II to justice. They let a lot of them go. And that's a situation that we're going to have to face with our own government, because you see people who have destroyed the Department of Education, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the State Department. They have ruined them to the point where they don't function as they were intended. They're just elements of the extended personality of Trump. The comments that are made from the White House every day, the lies that are told on behalf of the government, all the people doing that, the writers, the members of the staff that support Trump, all of them have to pay. I wonder if they will.
Yeah, my money says no, that they won't, that they'll figure out a way to worm their way out of it. That there's going to be no swallowing cyanide pills or anything like that with this group. They think too much of themselves.
Could we get enough pills to go around, though, to make sure everyone has an opportunity?
One would only hope. But you just don't get that this is a group that, because they I always believed in, well, not always, but I'm not gonna say I always believe, but in studying Germany in World War II, I come to believe that there were a lot of people in Germany who knew what they were doing was wrong. and just got swept up in the cult that was going on.
This is the way we do it now. It's a different world. We don't care about what was right before.
We have an opportunity to be in charge, and we're gonna be the big kids in the schoolyard now. And we're gonna not only
Reich.
And we're gonna ensure our future by bringing up these other people behind us that they seem to do it because they had a belief that society was supposed to go like that. The Trump people, I don't think they have that belief that society is supposed to go like that. I believe that they're a bunch of people that want to fill their pockets up as fast as they can and get out of here as fast as they can. That the minute that they have a little bit of power, they're going to use that power. And once they get that power, when Trump starts to show the sign of wavering, of either dying or being incapacitated or something like that, that they're all going to start to head for the hills. That
I hope so.
That Trump thing is going to collapse, and you're going to be left with the evilest part of it trying to run it, which is scary in its own right. But, the idea that we now have people who a year or two ago were Proud Boys, probably still are Proud Boys, and these types of organizations now running around with badges and guns issued by the United States government is a scary proposition.
And it's meant to be. Their product is fear. There is no secondary element to it. It's not legal. It's just fear-based, dispensing justice at the sidewalk level.
Well, we saw it. I mean, I experienced it last week. The story I was telling last week of me standing in the park there, sitting in the park, and the jackbooted thugs coming in. Well, they were here all weekend. All weekend, if you looked at social media, up and down Aurora Avenue here, Highway 99, there was people talking about, well, they're in the Safeway parking lot, they're in the Home Depot parking lot. They're by Costco. They're by here. Now, it did my heart good to see that people were on social media saying where they were. But it also hurt me a lot to see people posting things like, let them do their job. And you should be, arrested for giving out their position or something like that. I mean, because it just shows that there's people that still believe that these people are right.
But we need a few cases that are in court right now to be settled in the correct way. And the authority that the federal government uses to send troops into the various towns, they had sweeps here in LA last week as well, in Santee Alley, which is a knockoff place where people sell purses that look like they're made by Yves Saint Laurent.
Yeah.
And they hit that spot. The reach of the Gestapo is extensive, and the financing the federal government is spending on it is going to bankrupt us.
Yeah. They get a health care we could be giving people with the money we're spending on that.
Well, he's got a plan for health care. It's a 2-page plan.
He's got a plan for his own health care is what he's got.
It's fascinating that he calls it a plan. It's if that's what a plan is, we've been misled all along about what plans are all about. This was a 2-page children's essay on healthcare, and can't be considered a plan. There's no plan attached or involved with it.
You could write about it simply, Michael. You could just say, just take Obamacare, take the words Obama out of everything, and put Trump care in.
That would be suitable to the Republicans. They would buy that.
And it was because the bottom line is that Obamacare works. Nobody wants to admit it on the Republican side, but it has its faults. No plan is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be a one-size-fits-all for 300 million people. But the Obamacare plan works. It has more people insured now than have ever been insured in this country. And yes, is it expensive for some people? Yeah, it's expensive for people who have the money to pay for it. And less expensive for the people who don't. But you haven't heard of a lot of stories since Obamacare came into effect. Have you heard of a lot of stories of people losing their houses because of health care? Have you heard of a lot of stories of people being denied coverage because of pre-existing conditions? Have you heard of insurance companies going bankrupt? No.
It's not going to happen in this country.
Record profits. They're making more money than they ever made before. And more people are covered. Again, is it a perfect plan? No. But it's a damn sight better than not having anything.
Which is the Trump solution. I've got a solution. It's called nothing.
Right. You don't have any money, you don't get health care. You're over 60 years old, you're sick, go die.
Bring your body, bring out your dead. We pick up bodies on the sidewalk every Thursday.
In COVID. So it is Martin Luther King Day today. As much as the federal government has tried to hide it.
Or stop it altogether.
Yeah. Boy, what do you think Dr. Martin Luther King would say if he were alive today and looking at all of this?
He'd probably say, I pass.
Yeah. From his apartment in downtown Costa Rica, he said that I was wrong. He and Will Rogers are sitting in an apartment, and Will Rogers is saying, you know that thing I said about I never met a man I didn't like?
Let me amend that.
And yeah, but it's a shame because I mean I think I don't know. I noticed I know there was a matter of fact, a friend of mine just sent me pictures of the parade in Miami. I know there's a parade going on here downtown, but it doesn't have the impact that it's had in years gone by. They've definitely put a cold towel over it all. And made it less for
it's just another effort to change the history of this nation.
Yeah, but that's really what it is that slavery didn't happen and segregation didn't happen.
People
As a
were
matter of fact,
unhappy.
segregation did happen, and the black people loved it. They thought it was a great thing that they didn't have to drink out of the same fountains that the white people had to drink out of. Oh, they thought it was great. They thought it was great that they didn't have to go to the same schools that the white people had to go to. Oh, they thought it was grand. Amazing that
the American brand of slavery was always even-handed and fair.
Right. Right.
given opportunities to people who wouldn't have had them otherwise.
It is kind of it is amazing. It's scary. It's amazing. It's amazing that we have a group of people in this country that actually believe that kind of stuff. That actually think that's okay. That's good.
If you believe that, you can believe easily that Greenland is vital to our national interests. We can't go any further without Greenland. We've been waiting generations to take our rightful place in the world order by annexing Greenland. That's what everyone's been watching for generations. When's it going to happen? How long do we have to wait before Greenland is part of the United States?
You couldn't, if you pulled over into a truck stop on let's pick a truck stop. Let's pick the I-80 truck stop on the Iowa border there. The Iowa Illinois, is it Iowa Illinois? I think border. If you pulled into that truck stop and pulled out a map of the world and stood there and offered everybody $5 who passed you by if they could put their finger on Greenland, how much money do you think you'd spend in an hour?
You'd be up $15 at least.
Yeah, people would have to pay you to walk by. Just put your finger on Greenland. You mean Iceland? No, Greenland. You mean Newfoundland?
It's so arbitrary. It doesn't make any sense. It's just so random and distant that it's laughable.
What's a country that he thinks he can take? He wants to take over something. He wants to put his name into history. It's like Christopher Columbus,
he wants his own Ukraine.
Yeah, he wants to show that he can take over to the only country that'll that he thinks that he might be able to get away with is Greenland. Because there's nobody there.
30,000 people. What's the population of the island?
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. I don't even know if they have guns in Greenland. Do they have guns?
We can get them guns.
They have cheese. I know they have cheese because they're really kind of run by Denmark, right?
They are a protectorate of the Kingdom of Denmark.
So what's going to happen? They're going to go in there, and the Greenlanders are going to attack us with fondue forks.
Ice cubes.
The little chewy ones that the machines make?
Slingshots and ice cubes.
Is there anything more ridiculous than, and I see it now with the younger generation, they spend $300 on a machine that makes ice cubes that you can chew the ice. Have you ever heard of a bigger waste of $300 than that?
I don't think so. I mean, I could give it some thought, but it's rather meaningless.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and they sell them. They sell them. I just look at it and I say, what the? How do you But that's. But maybe they'll use those. What was it in Dunkirk when they, the British took all the fishing boats and all of the trawlers and the rafts and anything that they could float and went over to France and got the troops out of there, evacuated the troops that were up against the beach.
Right.
Well, what's going to be the Dunkirk for Greenland? What are they going to throw at them? Ice making machines, chewy ice machines.
T-shirts with J.D. Vance's picture on them.
Yeah, that's what they're going to throw at them. Oh man, what a screwed up situation. Well,
and how he ties this in his own brain to the Nobel Peace Prize something that cannot be explained. It's
Yeah.
gotten so twisted in the wind that it doesn't make any sense anymore. It just doesn't sound like there's any reasonable connection between the two. But in his mind, they are tied together.
And how can somebody be so hungry for power that they would give him the piece? I mean, they should take the prize back from her.
It should be neutered,
They should call her up and say, you know what?
null
You
and
can go
void.
do everything in your house because that peace prize, we've taken it back. You're not a laureate anymore. You're nothing. You violated
You're
the
not. We're
rules.
taking you off our master list.
Yeah, you violated the rules. There's certain rules and standards that we have for people that win these prizes, and one of them is you don't give them to anybody else.
It's not your prize to re-award to someone else.
Right, exactly. So you don't get the prize. The prize is not yours anymore. We're going to leave 2025 blank. It'll be like when you look for the world champion in baseball in 1994. There's just a blank space there. You look for the winning pitcher in the All-Star game in 2000 or whatever it was. It's just a blank space there. Tie game. That's the club you just got yourself into. And you, Trump, you could, why don't you just go down to one of them stores on Fisherman's Wharf and have them make up one for you? You know, like they used to make them gold records up.
Sure.
Hey, look, I got a gold record. Yeah, it's spray painted gold with a 45 cover on it.
Oh boy, what a mess.
Yeah. All right, Mikey, you want to?
All right, Vinnie. Shall we join each other on Wednesday?
Yeah, let's join each other on Wednesday and see how much more of a mess the world can get into between now and then.
Something is bound to get worse.
Yeah, something's bound to happen. I'll be thinking a good thought. I won't be rooting for Miami, but I'll think a good thought for you tonight.
4:30 game time in the West. Go Canes.
And listen, if the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. We'll get together and hang out on Wednesday morning, 10:10. Mikey, see you. Thank you all for listening. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, as they say. Bye-bye now.